Today's video is on lesson 4.3, solving systems of equations by elimination. So I know this is one that you guys struggled with. And the basics aren't too bad, but once we get down to where you have to move things around and multiply them, they do get a little bit tricky. But this is just a different method that you can use to solve a system of equations. Now, a system of equations, remember, has an x and a y that is the same value in both of those equations. There can be some where there's infinite, maybe, where they're like the same equation. But otherwise, you would have only the one x and y that work for those equations. So in these, we're going to go ahead and add them because we already have what we want to look for here. We have a negative 4y and a positive 4y, and those opposite coefficients means that if I add both of these equations together, the y's are going to cancel out. And in order to solve an equation, remember, you have to get rid of a variable first. So 2x minus an x is 1x. Don't just take the x away and put a 2 there. It means like 2x minus 1x. Negative 4y and positive 4y is 0y, so we can just cancel those out. And 2 plus 3 is 5. So that means x equals 5, and now I can take either equation and plug in 5 to see what y would equal when x is 5. So 2 times 5 gives me 10. And then I'm going to move this 10 over here so that I can get the y by itself. So I subtract 10 here, and 2 minus 10 is negative 8. Negative 4 divided by negative 4 will cancel, so I'll divide by negative 4 here as well. And I get y equals 2. So my solution is 5, 2. And I'm going to go ahead and check those by plugging it into both and making sure that they work. So 2 times 5 minus 4 times 2 equals 2. And that gives me 10 minus 8 equals 2, which is correct. Negative 5 plus 4 times 2 equals 3. That gives me negative 5 plus 8 equals 3. And negative 5 plus 8 does equal 3, so that's also correct. All right, the next one, we also have opposite coefficients here with the x's, so we can go ahead and add these. Now, when I say we're adding, sometimes students want to say, okay, so 2x plus 2x. When you add a negative, it's still like you're subtracting these two. So it would give me 0x, so I can just cross those out. 3y and 2y give me 5y. 1 and negative 6 gives me negative 5. So then I'll divide the 5 off of the y, and I divide 5 here. So y is negative 1. Then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to plug y in. 2x plus 3 times negative 1 equals 1. So I can add the 3, and 2x equals 4, so x equals 2. My solution is 2, negative 1. And again, just plug them in real quick and check that you did it right. That's 4 minus 3 equals 1. Negative 2 times 2 plus 2 times negative 1 equals negative 6. So I've got negative 4 and negative 2, and that does make negative 6. So that's also correct. So as long as when you plug it in, it has to work for both equations, not just one. So now we have some that don't already have opposite coefficients. So we're going to have to make them have opposite coefficients. So when they say understand equivalent systems of equations, what that means is if you multiply an entire equation by something, it's still the same equation. It's called an equivalent equation because if you were to graph it on a graph, or if you pull up a program and plug in the equation, it would show you exactly the same line. So if you aren't sure, you could go on Desmos, is a good graphing program, and just type in the equation and type in the new equation, and you would be able to see if they are equivalent. But the easy thing to do is just see if one is a multiple of the other, then you know it's equivalent. So what we want is an opposite coefficient, either on x or on y. It doesn't matter. To do the y's, it would be a little tricky. I'd have to multiply both of the equations. So I'm going to go to the x's. And I can multiply this one by negative 2. And that'll give me negative 2x here and a positive 2x here. And that would cancel out the x's so that I can solve the rest of it. So I'm going to take this whole equation, multiply it by negative 2, and I'm going to rewrite it underneath. The thing you have to remember is multiply the whole equation. As long as everything has the same thing being done to it, then it's still equivalent. So negative 2 times x, negative 2 times 2y, and negative 2 times 4. All right, so now I can add these two equations together, and these cancel. These give me negative 9y, and this gives me negative 9. So if I divide by negative 9 on both sides, I get y equals 1. And then I can come back to either equation and plug in 1. And so x equals 2. So my solution is 2, 1. And again, you can just check by saying 2 plus 2 times 1 equals 4. 2 plus 2 does equal 4. 2 times 2 minus 5 times 1 equals negative 1. 4 minus 5 does equal negative 1. So that's it. If you have any questions, make sure you reach out so I can help you out.